There's been a lot of talk about hard fouls in the league lately. You're a guy who's been on the giving end. You're a guy who's been on the receiving end of a bunch of these. I mean, personally, as a fan, I don't like them because I want to see great players make great plays. Like, with all due respect to you, if there's a guy who beats the Bucs in transition, like, I don't want Larry Sanders wrapping him up. I mean, I want to see the play, but you might feel differently as a defensive player. And I just wanted to get your impressions on that.
Well, defensively, I care a lot about the ball, so my eyes on the ball a lot. I try to go for my plays once the ball leaves your hand, for the block or, as far as like wrapping people up or taking charges, things like that. I don't think that's really my game. If a guy's on the break and, he has a clear lane to dunk, if I can't, I'm going to try to block it. If I can't block it, then, I'm going to get dunked on.
Well, so your personal policy is, look, I'm not going to wrap a guy up. Either I can make the block or I can't, in which case I'll be victimized, whatever. They'll put it on SportsCenter for 2 seconds, and that's that. Mm-hmm. So in terms of you would say hard fouls placed in the game, there really shouldn't be one.
No. I mean, if someone beats you to a position, point on the floor, and they're able to score, I mean, you should go for the ball. You should go for the block. I mean, if you can't, some guys aren't gifted with that ability, but go for a steal. It's going to be a foul anyway. I guess the whole gist of it is not to let the opponent score. Get an error and one.
But coaches still preach this no layups thing, right? I mean, even if it means. What can we do to make the game a little safer? I just feel like more and more, maybe because the guys are bigger and quicker, we're seeing a lot of dangerous plays, not intentional. I mean, I think it's as you said, people giving 100% effort, but I worry a little bit. Mm-hmm. What can we do to make the game safer?
I don't know. I just think it's a it's a contact sport. It's a dangerous game. That's kind of risk you taking from being out there. A lot of guys. They come up and it may be no contact. They may just land wrong, and something bad could happen to them. I think that's just the risk you take from being out there. It comes with the game.
You're listed at 6'11", right?
Yes.
Marcus Camby once told me that little guys like to add a few inches to their listed heights, but a lot of big guys that they actually don't want to be listed at 7 feet. Yeah. And his theory is that when you're labeled as a 7-footer, it means like you don't have an offensive game or like you won't be treated as an offensive player. And I just thought it was funny because pretty much all the small guys in the league give themselves at least 2 inches. Do you fall into the Marcus Camby camp of that?
Well, I'm listed at 6'11". I might be 6'10 3/4. Okay, I might have raised it up a little bit, but yes, once you hit 7 foot. To me, 7-footers just seem so tall, man. They're so much taller than me. It just features are so much bigger, like their hands and their head and things like that. So, I don't know. Being 7 foot, once you crack that 7 foot mark, you're a giant.
Right. It's a stigma because I think we all forget that. Like we look at NBA players and wow, you're 7 feet. That's amazing. But when you're growing up and you're that kid, you're kind of stigmatized.
Yeah. You put it into a category. You want to push the taller guys closer to the basket, which makes sense. But you have players like Dirk Nowitzki is one of the best offensive players to ever play the game, and he's 7 foot. 7'2", 7'1", something like that.
He's a 7.
Yeah, 7. And you saw that shooting the threes. He's a big player. He didn't. He didn't let anybody put him in a box. He's just a big player.
How's fatherhood going?
It's great. Wonderful.
You got how old's your boy?
2.
Yeah. And any good advice? Any good wisdom?
Well, I would say from my perspective, with my son, he loves to learn. But kids love to learn when you love to teach. You can't get frustrated. And, you have to kind of be patient with him. And, I'll be patient. I'm patient with my son. And after a while, he comes around. I don't have to give him any harsh punishments or anything. But he listens and he wants to learn. So, that's a great feeling because, I want to teach him a lot of stuff.
Well, so you've got about 4 or 5 years to get this technical foul thing under control because then he starts watching highlights.
Yeah, right.
Now you have to answer to him.
Well, hopefully it'll be closer to that in 4 or 5 years. It'll be pretty soon.
All right. Hey, Larry, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.